What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access. Today we're joined by K. Valentine. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. And you're here on tour with Talib, Kweli, and Styles P. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And obviously you got the new project coming out here for a reason.
Yes.
So what is the reason that you're here?
I'm here to inspire. I'm here to convey a message via hip hop. I'm here to lift. I'm here to assist, and I'm here to provide, fill the void. You know, that's present right now in hip hop.
And what void is there?
The void. You gotta hear the album, then you'll be fulfilled. You'll be like, this is what I've been missing.
Well, that's real. It's out there already.
Yes.
So with that one, it's interesting too because I thought that song was powerful in the sense that it's talking about real, like a more of an emotional connection as opposed to strictly a physical one.
Oh yeah.
So for you, why was it important to kind of make that distinction and talk about relationships on a deeper level? Because
love to me is that connection. To me, love is something that you can't see. You can only feel it. You know what I mean? And so when I think of love, I don't think of anything physical. And I think it's important because right now, like this day and age, it's popular to be unbothered. And a lot of people brag about their ability to be able to cut people off or fall back. And I just think it's something so strong and so organic about, you know, somebody who's able to love and real love. And that's what I wanted to speak about.
Okay. And how does that fit in with the rest of the album, conceptually and thematically?
I mean, the entire body of work, I speak of faith, I touch on love, I speak about struggle, I speak about growth. So it kind of all ties in. It's nothing on that album that, you know, you won't be able to relate to in some sense. You know what I mean? So, or some aspect.
Okay. And then obviously you've had several mixtapes out, both prior to working with Talib and now and after him, and then being on a lot of the compilations as well. So for you, now that the game is different and mixtapes are kind of looked at as albums, for you, have you noticed a difference making what's considered an album versus making like a mixtape, or is it a similar process for you?
For me, it's been completely different because mixtapes, you don't have to put as much thought into, let me rephrase that. You do have to put thought into it, but for my mixtapes, that's my opportunity to take an industry beat and remix it. Okay. You know what I mean? With my album, everything is completely, so with a mixtape, when I said you don't have to put as much thought.
Like $1 Million Baby, for instance, you did that several times.
And it's like basically if you have an industry beat, I pretty much I write my verses based off what the original song was about. Right. So I don't have to come up with a concept. Okay. Whereas with my album, all original beats, I had to come up with all the concepts. You know what I mean? It's more work. I have to put more into it. So it's more special to me.
Artistically, because of that, how do you think you had to push yourself as a writer, as a lyricist, as someone that come up with concepts?
Oh, I had to push myself, you know, much more than I have to with a mixtape because the concepts aren't there. And so it's like everything it's almost like going to the store and getting graham cracker crust versus staying at home, getting the flour, the eggs, and making you some homemade crust. You know what I'm saying? They both taste good, but one was already, you know, pretty much made for you. You know what I mean? This one, you feel it, you put more effort into it, so it's like, you know, it's a little bit more, you put your blood, sweat, tears. Some of you know, they be like, girl, you put your foot in it when it's good. Yeah, so, you know.
And then how would you say, because another song on Here For A Reason is Atlanta. So how does that fit into all that?
Now, Atlanta, that's so funny because when I wrote Atlanta, I was getting ready to catch a flight to Atlanta. And I heard that beat. And it just instantly, I'm like, Atlanta, I miss. You know, so I just wrote something. That wasn't even supposed to be on the album originally. It was just something, because I thought I was done with all my album tracks. But you know, when something comes, you just gotta write it and record it. So I let Talib hear it. He's like, it's going on the album. So that's how Atlanta got it. So that's why, you know, but it fits in there in the sense that it's something to lighten up the, you know, that's my I call it my fun song.
Okay.
You know.
And then speaking of Talib, obviously you're signing, working with him, and you've been with him a couple years now. So how would you say your relationship with him has evolved?
Man, he's first and foremost, he's my mentor. You know, now I look at him as family as well, you know. And we're still learning each other, you know what I mean? We've kind of bumped heads a couple of times creatively, you know, because we have our creative differences, but I'm learning so much, and man, it's a blessing to be able to work with somebody, you know, that's as legendary as he is, you know, and I really appreciate him taking his time to help mold me, you know, into a better artist. So it's been awesome.
So when you have had differences, what have you learned about yourself, and what have you learned about navigating that maybe you hadn't thought about before?
I learned that I could be a little stubborn sometimes, but I, you know what? I learned that sometimes you gotta pick and choose your battles. You know what I mean? You win some, you lose some, and I've learned to be a little bit more open to being critiqued. Okay. You know what I mean? And just a little bit more open, because one of the things we kind of butt heads over in the past was live instrumentation, and implemented it in my music. And you know, it was a sound and a vision he had for me, and then it was the one I had for myself. So we kind of came to an agreement. You know, I used some on a few of the tracks, and others I didn't at all. And so it's about, you know, give and take, and just being open, you know.
So what did you want or not want with the live instrumentation?
I didn't want it implemented in every track,
okay.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes with me, I like to hear that knock, that hip hop, sometimes I feel like live instrumentation, it can enhance a song, but sometimes it gives it a whole different feel. You know what I mean?
Bottom as much.
Right. And so that was a little thing, but we ended up, you know, working it out. So.
Okay. And then even though in general there aren't a lot of female rappers in general, there seems to have been throughout history a lot from Chicago. With the Brad, with Infamous Syndicate, with Shauna, of course, Tank, a whole bunch of people. Yourself now, obviously. So have you been able to draw or notice anything in particular about female rappers in Chicago?
Talented. We talented, you know, talented, strong. Strong women, you know, hustlers. They have something to say, you know what I mean? And just like you were able to name all of them, you know what I mean? That mean they doing something right.
Katie got bands, Miss Kane,
it's a lot of them. So yeah, I salute all of them, you know what I mean? Yep. I was just about to say that too.
Psychodrama.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. So I mean, we go-getters, we go hard, talented.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for you, to that point, how do you think that you're going to be able to like really push rap forward and take it places it hasn't been yet?
I feel like what I speak about is not popular right now. A lot of people aren't speaking about love. A lot of people are not talking about women empowerment. A lot of people are not speaking on the injustices and things that's going on, especially like the female hip hop artists. You don't hear them speak on that right now. So that's where I come in. You know what I mean? I'm here to speak and be the voice for the unspoken for. I'm here to, you know, do it, but in an entertaining way. You know what I mean? And just be something fresh and something new, and bring attention back to music with substance. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And that with the, obviously with the like personal stuff with you, like with your dad and different things, like how and why is music, in the sense of what you make a point to rap about, so important to you? Is that framed from your family experience, or is it a different reason, or both?
Both. Usually whatever I speak, whatever you hear in my music, it's usually either something that I experienced directly, or someone around me has experienced, a family member or a friend of a friend, you know. But 90% of the time, it's something that I dealt with.
And then how do you find that, because I know from listening to the music and then seeing different things that you've said, that it is like somewhat of a therapeutic thing for you to write, especially when you started writing. But now that you've been doing it for several years, have you found that you get something new or different out of the process of writing?
It's still therapeutic. You know, I still have my trying times. And so, you know, but what I will say is that back when I started writing, it usually was always when I was going through something. Now, I'm able to write when I'm happy or when I'm not going through anything, you know. I'm just able to do it more freely now,
So then how do you think that, you know, with some of the things that you've gone through, that it didn't like, you know, drown you or end you as a person? Like, forget the artist side, like just as a person, why do you think you've been able to kind of overcome and sustain yourself?
Faith, you know, I have faith in God. Prayer, I believe prayer is very, very powerful. I've been down to my wits' end, you know what I mean? Even in that down state, I pray. You know, I have a praying family, a praying mother, and you know, all you have to do is she always taught me faith the size of a mustard seed. And a mustard seed is very teeny tiny, you know what I mean? So that's a prayer.
And then how, like, what does that give you?
It renews my hope, you know what I mean? It uplifts me. It reminds me that anything, like the fact that we're sitting here, me and you, we've survived our worst days. Those days when we didn't think we was gonna make it, look, we made it. You know what I'm saying? And so it just, like I said, it renews my hope, and it let me know that it's nothing that I'm going through that another human hasn't already gone through, and God knows. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's why you're here for a reason.
I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a reason.
Well, that's K Valentine, I'm Soren Baker, Unique Accents. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.